Hello, friends. Welcome you back in the part 2 of the close study of Jack Ma's speech, and which is not only interesting for learning grammar and English, but his story is inspiring to take uh, new thoughts and new definitions of life for us. Okay, further he says, if one body has to go to the prison, Jack Ma go to the prison. Now see, uh, this is not standard English, but acceptable English. Here we have a new word. This is called journalese. Journalese, as used in journalism, or this can be called functional English. We mentioned in the first part what is functional English or communicative English. And can you make this sentence better? If one body has to go to the prison, and that is one body can be made better by anybody. If anybody has to go to the prison, Jack Ma will go to the prison. See, this is the correct grammar here. If anybody has to go to the prison, Jack Ma will go to the prison. But for the communication purpose, what Jack Ma says is okay and acceptable. So if he can commit a mistake, you too can take a chance, and don't worry about the little mistakes you will commit while speaking. Okay, again, this is the stupidest idea you have ever got. Again, example of which degree of comparison? Superlative degree. Yes, similar examples we have here: bright, brighter, brightest, great, greater, greatest, clever, cleverer, and cleverest. Yes. Then one number is here, 1800 million. We have 1800 million people using this Alipay, like Google Pay and other apps. Jack Ma created Alipay, and he says 800 million people use this Alipay. So how to write this number? It is given here, 800 million. 800. How many zeros can you count? 800 million. And we said 1 million is equal to how many lakhs? 10 lakhs. Remember, this is very much useful. Again, the government's pockets, that company is rubbish. He says the company or industry which expects money from government is a rubbish company. See, again here, study the word order or the sentence construction. He doesn't care for the rules or the order, but he successfully communicates his message. The company which expects money from government is a rubbish company, and apostrophe is used for the sake of possession, government's pockets. Can you say the same thing in other way, or in other words? The government's pockets, the pockets of government. Apostrophe s can be replaced by using of, possession, the pockets of government. The company which expects money from government's pocket is a rubbish company. Next, think about it. How can you make money from the customer? A good company always thinks how can it make money from the customers, not from the bank or not from the government. And this how can you is a useful one, useful expression. How can you trust him? How can you do that? How can you make this or how can you make that? So try making any 5 sentences. You can take the pen and the paper. How can you begin your sentence with how can you, and try constructing any 5 questions for the sake of practice. Okay. Then further Jack Ma says, I learned that you should never rely on government organization. And this is a lesson to uh, the would-be businessmen, the people who try a startup or want to become a businessman. They should never rely on government organization. And what is the meaning of rely on? RELY, rely on. Rely on means depend upon. I learned that you can replace depend upon here. I learned that you should never depend upon government organization. Yes, depend upon is synonym for rely on. Okay, and at the end of this part, as a close study of Jack Ma, he says, in love with the government, but don't marry them. He was asked the question, you were on his relationship with the government, if the government supports him, and he gives a beautiful reply that can be called a figurative English. He says, you should be in love with the government, but don't marry government, which means you should have very good relations, or government agencies should not be obstacles in the way of your business, so that you should have to maintain good relationship with government officers. But don't marry them, don't be too close to them. Don't marry them means don't be too close to them, otherwise these government officials will be troublesome to your business, to your future. And this is communicated very beautifully here by Jack Ma. He says, my relationship with the government, it is in love with the government, but don't marry them. And this can be the advice to any person who wants to become a successful businessman. That's it.